Today on Southern Accent Foods, I'm switching it up a little bit and I'm doing a frozen lasagna showdown. I'm going to try the classic Stouffers, the Michelangelos, the more expensive Rayos, and the budget Walmart brand. Let's get started. I'm going to rate these things in 4 areas: the cheese, the sauce, the meat, and finally the noodles. Each category gets a 1 out of 5 rating for a total of 20 possible points, and at the end I'll have a winner for you. I'm going to start with the ubiquitous Stouffers. I've cooked all of these in the microwave according to the package directions, and I'll start with the cheese on this one. There's not much, and some of it's stuck to the plastic film on top. It's kind of rubbery and not very flavorful. I'd love to tell you about the cheese in between the layers of noodles, but there isn't any. Cheese on this one, 1 out of 5. Next up is the sauce, and on this one, it's dreadful. The sauce has what a friend of mine calls a cream of ketchup vibe. It's way too sweet. There's also a very pronounced dried oregano flavor, which isn't bad on its own, but how about a little less sugar? There's no shortage of it though. It's pooled up in the bottom of the container, actually too much for me. Tomato sauce for the Stouffers, 1 out of 5. Next up is the meat. There doesn't seem to be much of it, and it sort of dissolves into the saccharine sauce. Meat for the Stouffers, 2 out of 5. Now we'll talk about the noodles. Not bad. They have a good texture and chew, and they're not overcooked. I'm going to give the noodles for the Stouffers a 3 out of 5. That gives us a total of 7 out of 20 possible points for the Stouffers. It's honestly just not very good. Let's do the Walmart brand next. It does appear a little bit greasy to me, but there seems to be a little more cheese than on the Stouffers, and it's not quite as rubbery textured. Once again, not really any cheese in between the layers, but since it tasted slightly better than the Stouffers, the cheese on the Walmart brand gets a 2 out of 5. Sauce in the Walmart brand, huge improvement. Much more savory instead of sweet. There's still a great dried oregano flavor, but they seem to have gotten the ratio right. You can also see that it's not totally swimming in sauce, it's just right. Sauce for the Walmart, 3 out of 5. The meat in this one is better proportioned to the amount of sauce, but I wish there was just a little more of it. I'd like to see the opposite of the Stouffers with more meat than sauce, so once again I have to give the meat for the Walmart a 2 out of 5. Now the noodles. Clearly the best of the pack. Thick, chewy, perfectly done, and filling. No contest. Walmart noodles, 5 out of 5. 12 out of a possible 20 for Walmart. If you like seeing these taste test kinds of videos, click that like button for me. It really helps my channel out, and I appreciate you helping me grow. Let's see how the Michelangelos gets on. This may not be the best looking one, but we're about to take a big step up in quality. This cheese tastes like real mozzarella cheese. And guess what? We finally have some cheese in between the layers. It's slightly chalky tasting, so I can't give it a perfect score, but the cheese in the Michelangelos gets a 3 out of 5. This sauce is clearly the best we've had so far. It's more like a real ragu or bolognese. It's well balanced and the meat blends right in. There's a slight problem with too much moisture, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Sauce, 4 out of 5. Meat, 4 out of 5. The noodles are perfectly done, and I like how they kind of stick together with the cheese in between the layers. They're not as satisfying as the Walmart though, so noodles in the Michelangelos, 3 out of 5, which gives us a total of 14 out of a possible 20. Next up is the most expensive of the bunch, the Rayos. Cheese quality here was good, it tasted real, and there was a good amount of it. Also, you can see that we actually have some cheese in between the layers again as well. It's not bad, but it still has a little bit of that chalky vibe, so I'm giving the cheese and the Rayos 3 out of 5. The sauce isn't as good as what I would have hoped. It's plenty meaty, but I think you can see there isn't nearly enough of it. The Stouffers was swimming in sauce. This needs more. It's also a little bit bland. The sauce and the meat for the Rayos both get 3 out of 5, mainly for quantity or lack thereof. The noodles redeem this lasagna somewhat. They're perfectly cooked, and I like the cheesy layers. I really didn't show it, but the Rayos had more layers than any of the others, so for that, I'm giving the noodles here 4 out of a possible 5. That brings the Rayos to 13 out of a possible 20. We can recap now. Honestly, this didn't turn out like I thought it would. The top finishers were very close, but the Stouffers was a big disappointment, scoring only 7 out of 20. Not recommended. Number 3 was Walmart with 12 out of 20. Walmart had the best noodles out of the whole bunch. Number 2 was the most expensive, the Rayos. It definitely needed more sauce, but the depth of the layers slightly edged out the Walmart with 13 out of a possible 20. The winner for me was surprisingly the Angelos with 14 out of 20. The meat and the sauce together really put this one on top, but it was close. If you'd like to see a homemade lasagna recipe, click on this video right here, and I'll see you there.